So it's nice having you in Louisville again.
Where are we starting?
Huh? Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's like
No,
not like
thanks.
the most formal situation.
Thank
but-
you. Thanks for your directions to the venue. I've never played a place that's like a flea market, circus, post-apocalyptic war bunker, all rolled into one.
Yeah, it's one of those venues that I'm always a little interested to see what bands and performers think of it, because there are a lot of like, I don't know, there are cool venues in Louisville, but we don't have a lot of, I don't know, bigger venues.
What's the capacity in this room? Probably like 1,000?
1,000, yeah.
And is that asbestos? No.
I don't know what that is exactly.
It's like insulation.
Probably insulation, if I had to guess.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. This is pretty cool.
So do you, when you go on tour, do you usually have much time to like check out the cities you're performing in?
I like to. Having a van, it makes it easier than being on the bus. Like that first tour where I came to Louisville 10 years ago was on a bus, so I didn't really get to explore. But what would you recommend?
What would I recommend? Oh gosh.
What are the cultural highlights?
The Highlands are probably like the coolest section of Louisville. It's just this one road, Bardstown Road, and there's a lot of like mom and pop shops and locally owned businesses and stuff, cool
Oh, cool.
restaurants and everything.
Cool.
So yeah, those are kind of like, the highlights are there for me anyway. That's kind of where I stick to when I'm here, so
I'll check it out.
yeah.
Good advice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful drive. We came coming over through Cincinnati over the bridge. I heard that during the Underground Railroad, Harriet Tubman brought slaves over that bridge, and that was like that dividing point between the South and the North. And so Cincinnati was like a haven for free slaves.
Huh.
So this is a
I didn't know that.
history lesson.
Yeah, the drive is pretty good. I end up in Cincinnati a lot for shows. A lot of bands that I like don't end up coming to Louisville, so end up traveling.
We
that
do.
Kind of stuff. Yeah.
Hey, yay,
Yeah.
nerd rap.
Do you think that if you were getting your start today, like how would it be different with the technological advances we have today and everything?
That's a great
Would
question.
it be harder or easier?
I mean, I think, yeah, that's a fantastic question. I think when I started, my gimmick was that I didn't have a gimmick, but I used the computer to make my music, and that I just rapped about my life. I think now to be a rapper, that's been done so much. Like I'm not your typical rapper. I don't rap about hoes and money. I'm different. That's every rapper's stance now.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been definitely harder to break into it now. But I think hip hop is in a really cool place because people are giving away music for free. A lot of things I predicted in some of my earlier songs about technology came true. I think being where I'm at in my career, I'm really thankful because it's like I'm able to do whatever I want, and I never needed a label to get started. But now I think like you really need that support somehow because there's so much competition. You need some sort of either financial or something. I really just paved my own way and met up with friends like Bowling for Soup and different people and different bands. They helped me out, but I never ever had any label. You know, you can do it DIY, but like now the major labels kind of bankroll most of the things you hear on the radio. Except for Macklemore, which is a cool exception. But yeah, I think if I were doing it now, I probably would have focused more on the videos earlier on. I didn't start making videos till I'd been touring for a bit, and I think videos are incredibly important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Chuck D from Public Enemy gave a speech, and he said the three things you need are great videos, a great story, and amazing music. And I think that's advice that young artists should heed.
Cool. And you have successfully funded 4 projects on Kickstarter, 3 of your own, and then 1 for the drummer of Coheed and Cambria.
Wow, you did
So,
your research.
Yeah, well, I mean.
Thanks. Shout out to Kickstarter. Without Kickstarter, I'd have a real job.
Now, so you already have kind of a following, so do you think that makes it easier to have projects funded on Kickstarter to get your music out there? Or?
You know, people, yeah, I always get emails and Facebook messages and tweets like, hey, promote my project. How did you fund those projects? And the only way to make new media economics work with crowdfunding is having that one-on-one relationship. And I think it's like touring gosh, I've been touring for like 11 years. It's been about meeting everyone at the merch booth, like always being out there, being in touch with everyone, just letting everyone know that like you're a real person and that you care about everyone who cares about your music, because people's attention span is so quick. And I think it's the years of touring. I think the fact that I've been so fortunate to open for so many bands helped it. So when I did my Kickstarters, people are like, oh, I met this guy, I heard his music, like I know his Poe song, what's he doing next? Like the brand of being someone who works hard and someone who always delivers. All my Kickstarters, I always delivered it within like a reasonable time frame and didn't go over budget, and I think that's important. Like if you do a Kickstarter and then do a bad album or something, and people won't come back.
Right.
So my new album comes out in March, and we'll see how it goes. But I feel really confident about this record, and I want to thank everyone who supported it because it was our biggest one yet, and I'm just so humbled and so thankful that like I get to do this for another few years. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm really excited to hear the crowdfund this song.
Did you play on it?
I did not. I'm not musically talented at all. But
Can I tell them about that idea?
Yeah, yeah.
I did a song about new media economics and crowdfunding, and all the people who supported the album, who supported it at like a certain level, were able to go in and play music, and they sent me their parts, and we cut it up and made a beat. So it's the first time I've like crowdsourced a beat, like sampling from the fans' home studios. And I think that's really reflective of the times, and it's really exciting thing because it's like it's the first time I've been able to collaborate with like 100 people at once.
Yeah, I'm really interested to hear that one. That one is going to be, I think, the one I'm most excited about.
Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Do you mind talking a little bit about your outreach work with kids and teaching kind of Shakespeare and Poe through rap and hip hop?
Oh yeah. Well, I like to I do workshops at schools where I help kids write music, talk about the connection between poetry and rap, and talk about like the history of hip hop and oral culture and how the mechanics of hip hop are so accessible to anyone, and how poetry is actually cool.
Mm-hmm.
And so I do workshops. I did a TED talk at USC a few years ago with a bunch of amazing young students, and we did a Poe rap, and it's on YouTube, and I really enjoyed doing that. And this summer I did a workshop in Florida, and it's something I do when I'm not on tour. Like it's great, and it's fun to make poetry cool again. It's just amazing how like hip hop is all about the creative appropriation of space by people who've been marginalized by society, right? And I think the internet reflects that because like the nerd rap movement is about people rapping about stuff they're passionate about in a space where audience wants to hear outside of the corporate mainstream major labels. And I think like education reflects that too, like occupying space that has never been occupied before, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's dope. The world is changing, and I think the whole thing I love about teaching is the punk rock philosophy of creating more and consuming less. You know, it's so easy to be this passive, staring at a screen all day, watching, you know, YG videos and Iggy Azalea videos, and just staring at your phone and like, oh, I'm part of hip hop culture, versus making beats on Rebirth and doing raps and writing about stuff and making videos. There's such a difference, and I think like as the role as educators now is to teach kids to be creative, because like back in the day, you know, in a hunter-gatherer society, the children of cavemen would play with bows and arrows and toy spears when they were kids, so when they were older they could hunt the woolly mammoths, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So now the kids of this 21st century world, you need to teach them to play with ideas and concepts and technology in a way that reflects the world they're going to adopt. So like it's cool you're a teacher thinking about this stuff, because it's like you need to teach kids to be revolutionary in that way. Consume less and create more, and that's the way to create a sustainable world, I think.
Yeah.
Starts here.
Awesome. Well, thanks for letting me interview you and checking out our stuff. So.
Thank you for promoting my music, and thank you for showing me your multi-cameras.
Sweet.
Peace!
Got it? All right.
Alright, so we're going to give you this microphone. So this song is called Mr. Raven. Who knows this song? Okay, cool. So, you guys are going to share this microphone. This is how it goes. It's based on a poem by Edgar Allan Poe called The Raven. So when I say, who's that, I want you guys to go, who's that rapping? Let's practice. Who's that? Who's that rapping? Then when I say Mr., I want you guys to go, Mr. Raven, like that. So it's like, Mr. Raven. Let's practice. Who's that? Mr. Get up for yourselves, Louisville. Here we go. This is from the Edgar Allan Poe EP and from the Laptop EP. And we're going to perform it right now. Who would have thought there'd be an Edgar Allan Poe rap song tonight? What a surprise. All right, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Flow like Poe. We got EAP in the house tonight. Edgar Allan Poe, America's favorite anti-transcendentalist. Take it back, way back. That's every style. Who's that? Who's that rapping in my chamber door? Mr. Raven. Off my grill like that for more. Kick it. Once upon a midnight cherry pie, like kicks in weekend weary, dark and cold, just like Lake Erie. Brand new sample, someone clear. Who's that rabbit in my chamber door? Mister! Pull up in my grill like that for more. I said, who's that? Who's that rabbit in my chamber door? Mister! When you drove and shop? Who's that? Who's that